Hey guys, Roast here with another Realm video. Today I want to talk to everyone about how to quickly get the best possible settings in Realm of the Mad God, because things like player opacity are something Realm never tells you about that you can mess with that make a gargantuan difference later on when you're trying to get through endgame stuff in large groups. I'm going to go through one tab at a time, so if you know something needs on a certain tab, use a timestamp in the description to skip to it. Otherwise, stick around so you don't miss out on anything good, because sometimes things aren't in the settings where you think they'd be. If you aren't already subscribed, 91%, sorry, something was in my throat, please consider doing so, as it helps me grow the channel, brings you more great guides and content, and gets me closer to my 1,000 subscriber goal. We hit 800 a few days ago, which is super exciting. Anyways, in terms of what videos I am making next, I'm going to work on a Cultist and Lost Halls guide very soon, a guide to the Forge and its rework as soon as that actually comes out, Realm of the Mad God Mythbusters Episode 2 in a week or so, and my Assassin PPE video because, well, he just bit the dust last night, unfortunately. Anyways, if there's other things you want to see sooner, let me know in the comments below. And with the intro out of the way, let's get started with the first tab of your settings, Controls and Hotkeys. So, the Controls tab is less something where you need to change things, and more something where you just need to make sure the buttons are ones that you are familiar with. Here's a list of some other important hotkeys that you may want to move around from the defaults, and what those buttons do. So, the Offset Reset Camera button is by default X, and it will just change your guy from being centered to offset. The Rotate Reset is by default Z, and all that does is if you've rotated your camera using Q and E, you can reset it with Z to facing upward, and I'll just show you where those are here. Those will be toggle centering is X, and rotate reset is Z. Auto fire reset, it's by default I. I set mine to my mouse because I can press that quickly and easily. I like to have mine off when I'm in the Nexus. It doesn't really matter because I have weapon sounds off, but that's just me. If you just have it set to I, that's fine too, but I like to have mine off on the Nexus. Again, that's just a me thing. Your ability use, a lot of people have it set to space or right click. I like mine on right click because a lot of abilities are aimed with the mouse, and aiming with the mouse and then right clicking with the mouse feels more intuitive and purposeful for me. Feels better that way. Using your backpack, did you know that you could quickly swap to your backpack? That's a thing you can do. Yes, okay, so it's called switch tabs. Backpack is called switch tabs, and it's B. So right here I have a backpack equipped. So if I tap B, not only does it switch these, but the really cool thing is, let's say I wanted to put something into my backpack or out of my backpack. So normally you might think, oh, I have to do this, and then click here, and then drag it up. That's not the case at all. You can just click, drag, B, drop. And not only will it take this item and drop it here, it will also swap the other item over, which is super useful. Now, these are all health potions, so I can't really show up, but here, this will work too. So, health potions in item 1, and now the health potion and the mana potion are swapped, which is super nice. So if you didn't know that, you can do that, right? Crazy, isn't it? Also, this HP bar, if you ever noticed it missing before, you can actually toggle these on and off. And the way you do this is with the button H. Again, by default, it is right here, your toggle HP bars. If you ever screwed up and your HP bar has gotten missing, this is most likely why. You've accidentally pressed H. It's terrifying when this occurs. This is what's occurred. Yeah. And the last one I want to quickly tell you about is, most of the other ones aren't that important, is if someone ever whispers you can hit tab and it will immediately pull up the last person that whispered you, as long as you're in the same instance. So if you've been sitting in your guild hall and someone's whispered you while you've been in the guild hall and you hit tab, it will say /tell roast beef if I had just whispered you, for example. Now if you were in your guild hall and you leave it and someone had whispered you in there, it won't pull it up anymore. But you can also hit enter and go through up, and it will just go through your last sent commands, whatever you last put in the chat. Right? But yeah, so that's a bunch of cool stuff. And again, most of these settings don't need to be changed, but knowing that they exist is useful. Anyways, with controls out of the way, let's move on to gameplay. And this is a big one, so we're just going to start from the top and work our way down. By far, the single most important thing in all of your entire settings is this opacity slider right here. This slider, combined with the on-off switches beneath it, determines how much clutter you see in-game. If this is your first time finding this setting, I recommend setting it to something like 40% or 50% with the same on-offs I have, and then lowering this to 10% once you've gotten used to not really seeing any other players. And I only say this because the sudden decrease in visual information can be a little bit jarring, but you will love this 10% once you get to Oryx's castle. I keep guildies and locked players unaffected, so if I have a raid lead or a priest locked during tough dungeons, I can follow them, because you don't need any other players hiding enemy projectiles. After opacity, changing camera rotation speed to fast is ideal, because it just changes how long you have to be holding Q and E to turn your camera. And then putting a star requirement down here on social can help with avoiding bots. Unfortunately, most of them are smart enough. This only goes up to 10, so most of the bots are just 10. So they just leveled up to 10 stars and can avoid it. It can help, it can not help. I keep it off because I want to interact with new players. That's just me. You can also turn different chats on and off entirely if you wish, but there aren't any hotkeys or separate windows, so I wouldn't recommend doing these. So like if you wanted to turn off all player chat, you can just be like, nope, I don't want to see it. Or if people were whispering you hateful things, you could just turn it off. If guild chat was being particularly toxic, you could just turn it off. Yeah, I don't know why they just don't have separate, like tabs like regular MMOs, but Deca, you do you. With gameplay covered, let's move on to video settings. The first setting you'll see is your cursor. If you struggle to see your cursor, this is where you can change it. You can change the size, you can change the type, and you'll notice that each of these cursors, not only do they look a little bit different, they have different color schemes, they also have different things that when you click. So you'll notice this one, when I click it, it constricts a little bit. It shrinks, squeezes. For example, this heart, when you click it, it actually flashes, it pulses red. And things like that can really help with just noticing the cursor and not losing it in the cluster of players and projectiles that is Realm of the Mad God. So there are a few different cursors, so feel free to give each one of them a shot if you've tried them. I see this cursor a lot, I see this cursor a lot, and I see one of these 4 cursors fairly frequently. I like this one, but that's just me. Try them out, figure out which one's your favorite. Most of this first set in interface doesn't matter too much, except for expand log, toggle pots to max, and these HP settings right here. Expand log decides whether or not when you enter a realm, and I'll just turn it on so you can see it in action real quick. Here it is. It determines whether or not this bar pops up over on the right. I don't like seeing this. Normally there's a lot more settings, and I don't want to see it, so I just turn this off. All that does is change that I don't have to press K. Because if I do want to see this how many rem, I can just press K really quickly. That's it. It's no big thing. So if that bothers you, or if it doesn't, that's how you deal with it. No big deal. Toggle pots to max, however, is a lot more useful of a setting. I keep it on, and I'll show you real quick what it looks like when you have it on. This is an 8/8 character, so you won't help us any, but I can show you on this wizard what it looks like. So on this wizard, he's not 8/8, but for example, on my attack, you can see it says 41, and then a bar, and then 34. So that means if I drank 34 attack potions, 34 more attack potions, then he would have max attack. And if you're looking at this inventory wondering what the hell's going on, I suppose this is a good time to say, if you guys come by the stream, I stream Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, 7-11 US Central, 7-11 p.m. US Central Time at twitch.tv/roastbeef. Editing me, put a link up right now. I do giveaways. These are some of the things I give away: a bunch of tier 12 weapons, grand life potions, sometimes tier 6 abilities, sometimes tier 12 and higher armors. It just depends what we got going on, so y'all come by and hang out sometimes. It's a lot of fun. Anyways, yeah, this is what the toggle pots to max text look like. If you're looking to max out characters, which is everybody in Realm of the Mad God, this information is really useful to have, and it's not really intrusive at all. It's just a bar and a number, and it's really well done and it's really useful information for knowing, okay, I only need to do 8 snake pits before I max out this character's speed. Cool. Thank you for that information. Really easy. Right? Isn't that so useful? The other good thing on video interface is these HP bar settings. And for me, I like to have all HP bars on all the time. Not just self and enemy, not ally, all of them. And I always like to draw my HP bar on top of everything else because I need to see my HP bar all the time. It may hide projectiles, and that's okay, because if I can't see my HP bar, for whatever reason, I don't win the Nexus. And that will get me killed more often than taking one straight projectile, because my HP bar is going to be underneath me. Projectiles are normally going to be coming from above me, right? Yeah. But with all those covered, let's move on to the quality. Unfortunately, you just gotta kind of turn Particles Master off, and the reason for this is Mad Labs. And that's because there is, or was, I don't know if it's still in existence, a bug where if this is on and you enter Mad Labs, no matter how good your PC is, your game will just load indefinitely and or crash. So you just gotta kind of turn this off and move on. A really big one on this, we're just gonna skip to the bottom of this and then go through the rest later, is ally shoot. Hide all. Immediately hide all. Screw everything else in here right now, hide all. Because this is ally projectiles. You want to turn this off. Because this changes whether or not when your allies are shooting projectiles, you see them. When the wizard's spamming their projectiles, do you want to see this? The answer is no, you do not want to see this. You do not want to see that. So, go to your video right now and turn hide all, ally shoot, to hide all. Okay? Yeah. Along with that, you can turn on or off text bubbles, which make little chat bubbles pop above people's heads when you're in Realm, or Nexus. This is nice for the Nexus when people are spamming trades and you just don't want to see it because it clutters the screen. But they can also be nice when you're trying to locate people in the Realm. They can be like, hey, I'm right here, I have things, and you're like, I don't know where that is. So if you need that, that's where that setting is. Most of these others I keep off because they're not useful, or they give me too much information. Like, I don't need to see how much damage my allies are doing. That does me nothing, you know? I don't need to see that my allies are taking damage. That doesn't help me. Unless maybe I'm a priest and I need to know to heal them, maybe, you know? The curse indication could be useful, except I rely on enemies glowing red because some of them tell me they're going to charge with that red glow, so I don't want that either. And then the ally summons toggle could be useful, but that works about half the time, so yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. Anyways, on to our last tab, sound. Now, I personally play on stream with music most of the time, so I turn Realm's music way down or off, but that's just me. I also prefer to keep enemy hit feedback noise on, so I keep master volume sound effect volume on, but I turn weapon sounds off. This is just the weapons firing noise, so if I turn this on, you'll hear the little, pew 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 every time you fire. That gets annoying for me, so I keep that off. But I keep the hit registering noise because when I'm kiting things, it's a lot easier for me to just be running away, focus on dodging, and firing in the general vicinity of an object and just hear the... Oh, well, it's not going to play there, I guess. But just hearing the... like the little noise that happens when you hit things, right? I rely on that to tell me, okay, I'm hitting the thing. I don't have to look for the damage numbers above its head to verify that I'm hitting the thing. I hear the noise, so we're good to go. But, you know, to each their own. If you don't like the sound, turn it off. I know some people that turn off all the noises, and I'm like, I can't imagine playing like that. But you know, you do you. It's what you like to do. Anyways, I hope this guide helped you get your settings in order. The big ones are opacity under gameplay, ally shoot at the bottom of video, and I believe it's pots to max under video as well. If you enjoyed, please consider liking or sharing this video with friends new to Realm so they can learn and have more fun. Also, if you aren't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you did, since 91% of my viewers aren't just yet. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, keep it beefy, boys.
Hello there.